Charlie Kirk was a hero. It's weighing heavy on the hearts of so many in this room and around the country. And I want to bring up a man who spent some time with Charlie over the last couple of years, in and around him at many different events. Turning Point USA. He's been the chief of staff for James O'Keefe for the last number of years. He is the leader of New Jersey's Early Vote Action. A man to give a tribute to Charlie Kirk today, my friend, Mike Casey, everybody.
Thank you so much. Before I speak, Cynthia Hughes and Patriot Freedom Project prepared a video for Charlie, actually, so they're gonna play that first.
How do you want to be remembered?
I mean, if I die?
Everything just goes away. How would you, if you could be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. Most important thing is my faith in my life.
First off, I want to know your opinion on January 6th and the pardoning of...
Everyone should be pardoned. That the January 6th defendants were put in pretrial detention for nearly 2 years, many of whom were not given attorney representation. One attorney in particular made his defendant go watch videos saying that MAGA is brainwashing you and say, go unbrainwash yourself before the trial. A complete violation of the 5th, 6th, and 7th Amendment. They were treated so terribly by our own government as political prisoners. Here is the truth. Even if you go do something as evil as shoot school, you deserve 5th, 6th, and 7th Amendment protection rights. These January 6th defendants did not get their basic constitutional rights protected. They literally had to sleep on the ground of the D.C. jail as January 6th gulags. You look at these pictures, they had to go sleep on the floor with no food for days, acting as if that this was some sort of Moscow internment camp. What President Trump did was very simple. This was a statement towards the justice system. You guys did not treat these people, who some of which did very bad things, with basic constitutional due process rights. It was a pardon wiping the slate clean, saying even the person who does the grossest thing should be able to have the same rights of due process and the presumption of innocence of somebody who did absolutely nothing wrong.
January 6th defendant who had his conviction overturned. Timothy welcomes the program. Timothy, tell us your story.
I had a pretty egregious story, though unfortunately with January 6th, it's not the most egregious. I was actually incarcerated with dozens of other J6ers in the D.C. jail, what they call the D.C. gulag. And we were essentially deprived of our civil liberties for quite some time.
Who died on January 6th?
Trump supporter.
Yeah, only person who died was Ashley Babbitt, killed by Nancy Pelosi's bodyguard. A Trump supporter was murdered. Trump supporters didn't kill anyone. President Trump has greenlit a special prosecutor, a deep state prosecutor. That is a terrific development. You know who I want to see do that? Ed Martin. I think Ed Martin would be a phenomenal deep state prosecutor.
We're also, please God, going to get some of these people out of jail faster and get them out of these situations. You know, it's Christmas, and one of the organizations I help, Jack knows, Patriot Freedom Project, we're just sending gift cards to families so these families can have, you know, minor Christmas gifts and food.
How do we do that, Ed? How do we send stuff to prisoners that are unjustly?
Well, patriotfreedomproject.com, and let me tell you, Charlie,
Okay,
we
say
worry
that
about
again.
our prisoners.
Patriotfreedomproject.com. Got it. Ed, you do a great job running the Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. I love the event. Let us know the next time you're doing it in the spring or whatever. Happy to help. Happy to promote it. Phyllis Schlafly. That, you know, it's worth having you come into the studio and tell the story of Phyllis Schlafly to our younger listeners. She single-handedly destroyed the ERA, which would have obliterated the country. That alone, she deserves to be on the Mount Rushmore of conservatism.
Every single person in this building, we owe something to Charlie.
He made you believe more in yourself.
I don't know how the guy had the bandwidth. Like the sheer volume of people whose lives he touched that we're just now discovering is out of control.
The president's massive gains with young Americans across the country was in no small part because of the efforts of Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA.
The thing that united us was his total commitment to free speech.
He just never forgot there was a person behind the views, and that inspired me. And God commands that of us.
He evangelized. He was on every college campus in every part of the country.
And he was broader than that. A turning point event was something you had to be at, had to pay attention to.
We now have 37,000 applications to start chapters around the country.
He was a joyful warrior for our country. He loved America. He devoted himself tirelessly to making our country a better place.
After he was killed, he has become a titan whose inspiration will move through eternity, inspiring millions of people for decades to come.
St. Paul tells us in the book of Ephesians to put on the full armor of God. Let all of us put on that armor and commit ourselves to that cause for which Charlie gave his life, to rebuild a united States of America, and to do it by telling the truth.
So I just wanted to say regarding Charlie Kirk, I saw a real human side to him that no one talks about. People love to talk about Charlie Kirk, the debater and the politician, but I saw how he was with his friends and with his employees. I saw every morning he would text James O'Keefe a Bible verse and uplift him whenever he had a tough day or whenever he was having a rough week in his life. He would send him encouragement. I was backstage with Charlie actually at the recent Turning Point event in Tampa back in July, and I saw him interact with his staff. When no one was watching, there was no cameras around, he treated them all amazingly. He was nice to everyone, talked to the lowest level staffer as if that was his family member, and he loved them all dearly. People love to talk about, Charlie as if he wasn't a human being. Our opponents treat Charlie as if he wasn't a human being. But can you imagine our opponents treating their friends like that? Do you think our opponents would ever do random acts of kindness like that? They wouldn't. And they don't look at President Trump like human. They don't look at the J6ers like humans. But we're all human beings, and Charlie Kirk was an exemplary example of that. He treated his friends like his family and his employees like his family. And he inspired so many young people like myself to get involved. And when I saw him get shot and take the bullet the same way President Trump did, I knew that they weren't just shooting at him. They saw me in their targets. They saw all of you in their targets, and they were trying to shoot all of us. Because Charlie Kirk was just like us. He was a guy who woke up one day, just an ordinary person, who had an idea and went and did something. The same way Cynthia Hughes woke up one day and did something great. The same way President Trump woke up one day and did something great. He was a human being, he was a father, he was a friend, and a boss who loved his employees as if they were his own kids, and he loved his kids more than anything in the world. I was so blessed to get to meet him a couple of times and work for some of his friends and see how he interacted with them behind closed doors. It was such a unique experience. People look at him as a celebrity, but beyond that, he was a human being, a friend, and someone who loved everyone in this room, whether he knew you or not. And I just like to ask everyone for a quick moment of silence, I guess, for Charlie Kirk. Thank you. Just one last thing I will say is when we all go out in the midterms and out and helping the J6ers, remember that they weren't just after Charlie Kirk or after President Trump or after Enrique or anybody else. They're after every single one of us and all of our families, and we're better than our opponents. Charlie was better than all of his opponents, not just in the debates, but the opponents who shot him. The same with President Trump was better than his opponents, and we'll carry on his legacy, and our legacy will be Charlie's, and he will not die in vain. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.